I'm so excited. We're doing Sherlock Holmes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so for the week, I've tried really hard to plan ahead, but I'm not so great at that because I know once we get into reading the stories, I'll have lots of more great ideas. So I'll try not to pile on anything because I've given you guys a lot to read. Um, so for today, don't be overwhelmed. First of all, don't freak out. These are very short stories. Sherlock Holmes is arguably the best fictional detective ever written, and he has all sorts of cool characteristics that have been adapted into movies and TV. And so, sorry, my cap is a little. Anyways, um, so I picked the very best stories. These are not just best according to my hat. It's not cooperating. These are the best not only to Miss Metters but to the internet. So people have ranked these as the best Sherlock Holmes stories. I think my hat was made for a child, which it should fit. Okay, so anyway, so your job today is to read The Adventure of the Speckled Band and A Scandal in a Bohemia. The Adventure of the Speckled Band is just one of the most interesting. It has all the clues in there, and you could maybe figure it out, but very few people figure it out before the end. And then A Scandal in Bohemia is the very first time we meet Irene Adler. That's Shakespeare's kind of love interest. Um, so you need to read those two stories, definitely. No, that's not an option. But then you do have an option here. I feel like I need to learn how to hold a pipe before doing this. Okay, you do need to choose one of the following options. So you can either watch A Study in Pink from the TV show Sherlock, watch A Scandal in Belgravia, and this is kind of the same idea. You meet Irene Adler in this one as well, but they've obviously changed the name, and it's um, a lot different as far as plot, but some of the elements are still the same. And then your third option is to watch the film Sherlock Holmes, um, which has his arch nemesis. Um, what's his name? Moriarty. I can't say it. Never could. And then you can also choose to read one of um, the other good short stories that are Sherlock's. Um, the Red-Headed League, which is exactly how it sounds. There's a bunch of red-headed men doing nefarious deeds, and then the Dancing Men, which is about like a code, a secret code that Sherlock has to crack. So choose one of the five things plus these two stories to read by Friday. And then if you'll look, I've tried to plan out the week a little bit. You guys continue reading, and then I want you guys to see where we're headed. And that's going to be due by April 22nd. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Um, on Wednesday, there is something you need to listen to, and I'll remind you guys of that on Wednesday. This is a podcast. Super good. Thursday, I will be available on Zoom, and I'll send you guys that message on Thursday. So you guys can ask me live questions about the stories or the vocab. And then on Friday, we will have a quiz and a discussion due. So I'm going to have those up on Verge so that you guys can take them at any time except for today. So you can expect those up to be up by Wednesday. Okay, so you can, from Wednesday on, you can take those or participate in them. Okay, so the other good news is if you miss reading aloud together, I'm going to read the two stories that you're required to read aloud and record myself. And then Craig is really good at video editing, and I made him promise to help me video edit them so they'll be high quality on YouTube. and you guys can follow along and read the stories that way. So they are all available on PDF, and then I showed you guys how to get or where you can watch the movies and the TV. Okay, so I think that's it. So I want to show you guys where we're headed with this. All right, so your assignment is eventually going to be to write a research paper. Okay, I gotta change that. It's due on the 22nd. I extended the deadline already because when we come back next week is spring break. So when we come back, I wanted you guys to have that full week, and I'm gonna help you guys learn a few things. So you're going to research a famous detective, real or fictional, and write a paper about your detective using correct MLA citations. So I want to show you guys what MLA citations are, do some like direct lessons with that, and show you guys what I expect. I also want to show you guys how to use online databases that if you're going to college next year, you're going to need to know how to find sources that are legitimate. And so I'm going to show you guys how to use a couple different online databases. If you don't know what any of that means yet, you will. So here's some famous detectives, real and fictional. I love all the fictional ones, obviously, but I also I did a little research, and there's some really cool real life detectives on there as well. On Thursday, you guys will learn about, or no, Wednesday, you'll learn about real detective. Is super cool. Your body paragraph will look like this. All right, so I'm trying to like alleviate any stress. Your body paragraphs will all look the same. The only thing that will differ is your intro and your concluding paragraphs. So paragraph 1 will be your detective's personal life. Paragraph 2 will be your detective's idiosyncrasies, like their habits, right? So Sherlock is known for kind of being a little bit of a jerk. He doesn't care about other people's feelings, but it's just because he's so involved in his own head, right? Um, Poirot, who's my other favorite famous fictional detective, is very clean. He likes things that are like, he always has his nice shoes on, and he will wear them no matter what job he's doing. And he likes things to be like symmetrical, kind of OCD, kind of like Monk. I feel like Monk came from Poirot. And then number 3, body paragraph 3, your detective's most famous cases or case. So you guys can pick one or several, and then think about these body paragraphs as like a guide. If you have a lot of information on his personal life, divide it into 2 paragraphs, but then you also need to have the rest of. So the I've set it up so that it theoretically could be a 5-paragraph essay, but good essays don't follow a format like that. So whatever you have more information on, maybe you get really interested in Detective Holes, who is living and he just discovered the Golden State Killer. Maybe you write a lot more about the body paragraph 3 suggestion, which is their most famous case. So maybe that takes up a couple paragraphs. So I'm going to show you guys and have little videos along the way of how to do how to research on the databases online, and how to cite that information properly, both within the paper and after the paper is written. And you guys have some choice here about who you choose. So I wanted to give this to you as soon as possible so you can start looking up. And these are just some suggestions. There's lots of different options out there. So yeah, I'm so excited. If you can't tell, yeah, I'll take my hat off for a second. I love Sherlock. There's a reason he's the best. So make sure that you guys read these stories. There's oops, not that one, not that one, not that one. Make sure you guys read your stories, pick what you want to do, look ahead to the research paper, and let me know if you have any questions. Right now, all that you're doing is reading and watching. And that is going to be due by Friday. You'll have a discussion and a quiz that's due on Friday on these readings, and that will be be available to you by Wednesday. I will be posting a video today and tomorrow of The Adventure of the Speckled Band and A Scandal in Bohemia, where I read them aloud and will follow along on the screen. So if you have questions, let me know on Remind. I miss you guys so much. And I'll see you spring break next week. It'll be great. All right. Love you, mean it.